to be the first of the year already in 2023. A woman shoots a man inside of a home on the 4800 block of Tacoma Street in Frankfort. Happened around 1 o'clock this morning. We know the man was taken to the hospital. No updates on his condition. The woman did give up the gun, which was registered. She was taken into custody.
Neighbors say 87-year-old Mary Gallagher is the matriarch of her Port Richmond block. The proud great-grandmother is fondly known for her bell. It's a tradition for her to do just that outside her home of 52 years after the clock strikes midnight on New Year's Day. But she says this year was her last.
Now I'm not allowed to ring it no more.
Gallagher says after the bell ringing and speaking to some of her neighbors, it felt like a brick hit her.
I touched my shoulder and I looked at my hand. I goes, oh my God, I'm bleeding. I didn't know what it was. And I didn't know what to do. And then especially when I seen the bullet, I just sat here looking at the bullet and going, I don't believe it. I got shot with a bullet.
What did it feel like?
It feels like, you got hit with something good.
Philadelphia police say they responded to Gallagher's home on Salmon Street by 12:15. They say her shoulder was grazed with a bullet. Gallagher says she went to the hospital and had to get stitches.
I didn't do nothing to nobody. Why the heck did I get shot?
Police say there was no scene. The bullet was shot into the air from a location they haven't determined. Gallagher can't wrap her head around why someone would do that, but she does have some choice words for them.
They are stupid. They kill people. And if I had been one way or the other on my step, it could have hit me on the neck because that's how close it is.
Homicide rate has now surpassed the 500 mark. Last year, 562 people were killed in the city by gunfire. The police department is now enhancing what they call Operation Pinpoint. At least 100 officers will be redeployed and added to the 22nd and 24th districts in North Philadelphia, the 25th district in Kensington, and the 39th district in Germantown. During the last gun violence briefing of the year, Mayor Jim Kenney said the initiative represents the largest redeployment of police officers in Philadelphia in recent years. Police Commissioner Danielle Outlaw said 155 officers have been added this year to address the department's staffing shortage, and 30 more officers will join the ranks in March.
Police are looking for the killer who left a man dying, shot in the parking lot of a Dunkin' Donuts. That's where Ellen is right now.
Yeah, good morning, Karen. Just minutes ago, Philadelphia police towed the car away from this murder scene. Let's get right to the video. Now, here's what we know. Detectives from the 35th district here in Albany tell me they have very little to go on right now, but someone called 911 about 1 this morning saying a man had been shot in the parking lot of this Dunkin' Donuts. The detective says because the Dunkin' Donuts and all the nearby stores were closed at the time, they don't have any witnesses and they're starting from the ground up, but they did find 6 shell casings at the scene, both inside and outside the car, but they're not sure if the victim was coming or going into the car at the time of that shooting. Here's Chief Inspector Scott Small with a little more info.
And he was shot multiple times in his torso, arms, and head. He was unresponsive. Medics picked him up and rushed him to Einstein Hospital. And that shooting victim was pronounced dead at Einstein Hospital at 1:22 a.m. We know he shot in the head, the chest, and several times in his left arm. Where we found him in the parking lot, he was laying next to the open door of a Lincoln Town Car that was parked in the parking lot.
Now, police have not yet identified the victim. They're calling him a John Doe at this point. There's also surveillance video. The Dunkin' Donuts literally just opened its doors a couple minutes ago, so police are hoping that they will get that surveillance video and it will shed more information, shed some more light about this murder. So if you have any information about this crime, they are asking you to please call them.
Tonight, there's a carjacking crisis. The city of Philadelphia is taking a new approach as it deals with a dramatic rise in these violent robberies. Good evening, everyone. I'm Yuki Washington.
I'm Jessica Cartalia. The city is experiencing a record number of carjackings this year. Take a look at this. Going back to 2019, pre-pandemic, there were 224 carjackings reported in Philadelphia. Since that time, those numbers have exploded. So far this year, there are more than 1,300 carjackings.
And that is why the city is now creating a new investigative unit to crack down on this violent crime. Carrie Corrado takes a closer look at the plan of action.
This is a special unit within the district attorney's office. They say it's all thanks to a $1.5 million budget increase from Philadelphia City Council. It's a statistic that's headed in the wrong direction. Carjackings rising at an alarming rate. Philadelphia police reported a 54% increase from last year. In 2022 alone, there were more than 1,300 of them.
But there is a specific violent component and a selfishness that comes with a carjacking, and it truly puts everybody's sense of security and safety in danger, if not eradicating it completely.
The DA's office created a task force that will tackle carjacking-related prosecutions. The goal is to restore a sense of safety in the city.
This will be a targeted, coordinated, deep dive into a systematic problem that's occurring in Philadelphia that's plaguing our city.
Assistant District Attorney Helen Park will lead the unit and will work directly with the city's gun violence task force and the homicide and non-fatal shooting unit.
We are seeing more and more and more that when there is a fatal shooting or a non-fatal shooting, it is done in a car that does not belong to the people who are doing the shooting. It's part of how they hide their identities.
And while this is not going to be an easy task,
it is our hope that we will be able to catch organizations, groups of people who work together. Yes.
Half the unit will handle adult cases, the other half will handle juvenile.
514. That's how many people were killed in Philadelphia in 2022. There were more than 2,200 gunshot victims. In 2022, we put faces with those numbers. They're not just stats, they're someone's family. We wanted to concentrate on where this is happening. Matt Petrillo was outside police headquarters tonight. He takes you through the areas most heavily impacted by this gun crisis. Matt?
Yeah, Yuki, we found many shootings were concentrated in just a few neighborhoods in Philadelphia, leaving behind a toll of trauma for those living in those areas.
I'm still in shock.
Security video from October shows 3 gunmen run from a vehicle and ambush a 19-year-old man, firing more than 24 times, killing the victim, Tamir Jones, outside his home on North 13th Street near Spring Garden. His mother rushed to the scene.
Leaving work, and I think I broke every traffic law to get to my front door just to see my son's blood on my front steps.
Shooting data from Philadelphia police obtained and analyzed by Eyewitness News shows Philadelphia's gun violence epicenters can be found in just a handful of zip codes. Among the top 3 is 19124, which includes Frankfurt, Feltonville, and Juniata. It saw just over 180 shootings last year. Nearby 19140 covers parts of North Philadelphia, Nicetown, Tioga, and Hunting Park, and had 196 shootings. But by far the most violent area is 19134. That mostly includes Kensington and reveals a shocking 270 shootings.
It's a tremendous challenge simply to grow up in those neighborhoods.
Brandon Del Pozo is a former New York City officer and now Brown University assistant professor.
There's this generation of young men growing up that will be forever changed by the trauma of just simply growing up where they live.
He also says violence often leads to more violence, a topic Jones and his mother often talked about.
Those conversations came up, like what's the end game? What's the end game, jail or going 6 feet under?
And you can search for the number of shootings in your Philadelphia zip code on our website.
Was shot multiple times overnight in West Philadelphia. It happened around 1 o'clock this morning on the 5400 block of Spring Street. Police say they found the victim lying on the street with multiple gunshot wounds to the legs and arms. He was taken to the hospital in critical condition, and police are investigating whether this was a carjacking. The suspect left the scene with the victim's Dodge Charger Hellcat.
And a man was found shot dead inside his vehicle overnight in Hunting Park. The 28-year-old man was found in Hunting Park between Roosevelt Boulevard and 9th Street. Police say he died from a gunshot wound to the left side of his head. An investigation is underway to find that suspect.